I have learned that one of the most expensive habits a person can carry through life is the habit of explaining himself to people who have already decided not to understand him. There comes a moment in every man's and woman's life when silence becomes more powerful than defense, when progress becomes a louder argument than words, and when the strongest answer you can give to doubt is not a speech but a result. Tell me honestly, and write it in the comments below if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever found yourself explaining your dream, your decision, your ambition, or your next move to someone who was not asking because they cared, but because they wanted to weaken your certainty? Think carefully before you answer, because this habit may be costing you more than money. It may be costing you your focus, your peace, your courage, your confidence, and your future. Many people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they spend their best energy trying to convince the wrong audience. They stand before people who secretly hope they remain small, and they plead for permission to grow. They explain why they are working late, why they are starting over, why they are building something new, why they no longer have time for foolish company, why they are changing their habits, why they are thinking bigger than before. And while they are explaining, their dream is waiting, their discipline is cooling, their faith is being negotiated away. The danger is not that people disagree with you. Disagreement can sharpen the mind. The real danger is that you begin to confuse resistance with wisdom. You begin to believe every person who questions your path deserves access to your plan. You begin to hand your vision to people who have no intention of helping you build it. Before this message is finished, I will give you one sentence that can save you from years of emotional exhaustion. It is a sentence successful people understand, but insecure people fear. Hold that thought, because I will return to it near the end. The first principle is this: stop mistaking curiosity for support. Most people miss this because they believe every question deserves an answer. When someone says, "Why are you doing that?" or "Who do you think you are?" or "Do you really believe that will work?" the ordinary mind immediately prepares a defense. It assumes the question is honest. It assumes the other person wants clarity. But often, the question is not a bridge, it is a trap. When you explain yourself repeatedly to someone who does not want you to win, you move from leadership to defense. Your mind stops creating and starts justifying. The imagination, which should be building plans, begins building arguments. Your emotional energy is redirected from achievement to approval. That is how a person with a great aim becomes mentally tired before the real work even begins. The person who truly supports you usually asks, "How can I help?" The person who doubts you asks questions designed to make you doubt yourself. One opens a door, the other places a weight on your chest. So the next time someone questions your goal, do not answer immediately. Pause and ask yourself, is this person seeking understanding or seeking control? If the question comes from love, answer calmly. If it comes from jealousy, mockery, or fear, give less information. Say, "I am working on it," and return to your labor. Your future does not need to be explained to every witness. The second principle is this: your growth will disturb people who made peace with their limitations. People often assume opposition means they are doing something foolish. They hear laughter and think, "Perhaps I am wrong." They hear criticism and think, "Perhaps I should shrink." But often, when you rise, you become a mirror. Your discipline reminds others of their excuses. Your ambition reminds them of the promise they abandoned. Your change reminds them that they are still choosing comfort. A person who is not moving may feel safe as long as everyone around him remains still. But when you begin to improve your habits, your income, your mind, your business, your health, or your character, you create evidence that change is possible. That evidence can inspire a strong person, but it can threaten a weak one. A man decides to save money, and people call him proud. A woman decides to study, and people say she thinks she is better. A young person starts a business, and others laugh before the first sale. A creator begins publishing videos, and people criticize the first attempt as if excellence should appear before practice. The criticism is rarely about the act itself. It is about the discomfort your movement creates in people who have stopped moving. So do not announce every transformation while it is still fragile. A seed does not explain itself to the soil. It grows in silence until the evidence breaks through the surface. Protect your early decisions. Protect your new routine. Protect your business idea. Protect your inner fire. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. The third principle is this: explanation can become a hidden form of self-betrayal. Most people miss this because explaining feels responsible. It feels polite. It feels mature. You say, "I just want them to understand." But beneath that sentence may be a dangerous need. I want them to approve before I continue. When your movement depends on their understanding, they control the speed of your progress. Every time you explain your choice to someone who disrespects your vision, you train your mind to seek permission. If you repeatedly tell your mind, "I cannot move until they agree," soon you will feel guilty for growing without their applause. You will delay your work, soften your message, reduce your goal, and call it wisdom when it is actually fear wearing respectable clothing. Many people had great promise but remained trapped in the court of public opinion. They did not lack ideas. They lacked independence of mind. They waited for parents, friends, neighbors, classmates, co-workers, or strangers to bless a dream that was never given to those people in the first place. Before you explain yourself, ask, "What am I hoping to receive from this person?" If the answer is advice, choose someone qualified. If the answer is approval, stop. Approval is not the same as guidance. A person may love you and still be unqualified to direct your destiny. A person may know your past and still be blind to your future. Now listen closely, because the sentence "I promised you" is still coming. But you cannot use it properly until you understand why your explanations have been draining your power. The fourth principle is this: every explanation has a cost. People think talking costs nothing, but every conversation takes attention. Every defense takes emotional energy. Every argument leaves a residue in the mind. You may leave the room, but the room does not leave you. You replay what they said. You imagine what you should have said. You feel angry, misunderstood, or discouraged. And while your mind is fighting yesterday's conversation, today's opportunity passes by. Achievement requires concentration. Concentration is the ability to hold one definite aim in the mind long enough to organize action around it. When your attention is scattered among critics, doubters, gossipers, and people who misunderstand you on purpose, you cannot give your best thought to your chief aim. A divided mind produces divided results. The athlete who listens to every insult loses rhythm. The entrepreneur who answers every critic loses speed. The writer who reads every negative comment loses voice. The leader who tries to be understood by everyone loses authority. Great work demands selective attention. You cannot build a strong future while carrying every weak opinion. Do not give premium access to people who bring poverty of spirit. Your explanations are access. Your emotional reactions are access. Your private plans are access. Your time is access. Stop giving front row seats to people who only came to watch you fall. The fifth principle is this: people who do not want you to win often demand details so they can attack your confidence. Most people think more details will finally make the other person understand, so they explain the business plan, they explain the strategy, they explain the reason, they explain the sacrifice, they explain the timeline. Then the other person finds one weak point, one uncertainty, one unfinished part, and uses it to shake the entire dream. Every dream has an early stage where it is not yet strong enough to survive careless handling. A new idea is like soft metal before it is hardened by heat. If you place it in the wrong hands too soon, they bend it, dent it, or make you ashamed of it. The problem is not that your dream is weak. The problem is that you exposed it before it had structure. No farmer digs up the seed every morning to prove it is growing. No builder invites a crowd to judge the house while the foundation is still wet. No wise inventor asks the marketplace to approve the machine before the parts are assembled. Early work requires privacy because privacy gives the mind room to experiment without ridicule. Divide your life into 3 categories: plans, progress, and proof. Share plans only with mentors, partners, or people directly involved. Share progress only with people who encourage disciplined action. Share proof publicly when the result can speak without needing defense. And here is the surprising truth. Sometimes the people who demand the biggest explanation deserve the smallest answer. A person's demand for access does not create your obligation to provide it. Noise is not authority. Familiarity is not authority. Age is not always authority. Proximity is not authority. Only wisdom, integrity, and proven goodwill deserve influence over your decisions. The sixth principle is this: your purpose must become stronger than your need to be liked. Being liked feels safe. Approval feels like shelter. But if you make approval your shelter, you will never survive the storms of achievement. Every worthwhile goal will offend somebody. Every bold decision will confuse somebody. Every rise in your life will be misread by somebody who preferred the older version of you. If you need everyone to understand you, you will shape your life around the slowest mind in the room. If you need everyone to approve of you, you will reduce your dream until it fits inside their comfort. If you need everyone to clap, you will stop moving when the room becomes silent. Purpose requires a higher loyalty than popularity. Write down your chief aim in one sentence, then write beneath it, "I do not need universal approval to take disciplined action." Read that sentence before you begin your work. Read it when someone mocks you. Read it when you feel lonely. Read it when you are tempted to explain. Your purpose must become a command in your own mind, not a suggestion waiting for public permission. The seventh principle is this: clarity is kinder than constant defense. People think boundaries are rude. They believe saying less means they are being disrespectful. But a boundary is not an insult. A boundary is an instruction. It tells others how to treat your time, your mind, and your mission. When you consistently refuse to argue, refuse to over-explain, refuse to reveal every detail, and refuse to be pulled into emotional battles, people eventually learn that your life is not open for careless handling. You do not need to be harsh. You need to be firm. You do not need to attack. You need to proceed. Use 3 calm sentences. I understand your concern, but I have made my decision. I am not discussing this further. You will see the result when the time is right. These sentences are not weapons. They are doors you choose not to leave open. Speak them without anger. Repeat them without guilt. Then return to your work. Remember, the sentence "I promised you" is still coming. But first you must understand one final danger. Some people do not want an explanation. They want a reaction. The eighth principle is this: do not feed the identity of your opposition. People think winning an argument proves strength, but sometimes argument gives the critic exactly what he wanted. He wanted your attention. He wanted your frustration. He wanted proof that his words could move you. When you react emotionally, you confirm that he has power over your inner state. Some people feel important when they disturb your peace. They may not be building anything themselves, so they gain a sense of control by interrupting builders. Your reaction becomes their reward. Your long explanation becomes their entertainment. Your anger becomes evidence that they touched a nerve. If you want to remove their power, remove the reward. When you sense someone is trying to provoke you, lower your volume, shorten your answer, and end the exchange. Say, "That is your opinion." Say, "I hear you." Say, "Time will tell." Then stop. The strongest person in the room is not the one with the most words. It is the one whose emotional state cannot be purchased cheaply. The ninth principle is this: build so well that explanation becomes unnecessary. People want recognition before results. They want belief before evidence. They want respect before consistency. But life rewards proof. Faith begins the journey, but proof silences the noise. You do not owe people constant explanations while you are still in the workshop. You owe yourself consistent effort until the work can stand. When you keep showing up, your identity changes first in your own mind, then in the eyes of others. Discipline creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. Confidence creates presence. Presence reduces the urge to explain. A person who knows what he is building does not panic because someone else cannot see it yet. Choose one important goal and commit to silent progress for 90 days. Do not seek applause. Do not explain the whole plan. Do not report every step to doubters. Work daily. Measure weekly. Improve honestly. At the end of 90 days, you will have something stronger than an explanation. You will have evidence. The 10th principle is this: choose your counsel, not your crowd. Many people confuse many opinions with wise direction. They tell everyone their problems, then feel confused when 10 different people give 10 different answers. But a crowd is not a mastermind. A crowd is often a marketplace of fear, ego, habit, and borrowed opinions. Your destiny deserves better advisors. Your mind becomes shaped by the voices you repeatedly honor. If you honor fear, you become cautious beyond reason. If you honor envy, you become defensive. If you honor discipline, you become stronger. If you honor wisdom, you become clearer. Make a list of 5 people whose judgment you currently allow into your mind. Next to each name, write one word: builder or drainer. A builder may challenge you, but the challenge makes you better. A drainer may flatter you or criticize you, but the result is weakness, confusion, or delay. From this day forward, give more access to builders and less access to drainers. Now I will give you the sentence I promised at the beginning. It is simple, but do not mistake simplicity for weakness. The sentence is this: I do not need to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding me. Say that again in your own mind. I do not need to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding me. That sentence is not bitterness. It is freedom. It does not tell you to hate people. It tells you to stop becoming a prisoner of their opinion. It does not tell you to ignore wise correction. It tells you to distinguish correction from sabotage. It does not tell you to become arrogant. It tells you to become unavailable for pointless emotional trials. When you truly accept that sentence, you stop performing your pain for people who enjoy watching you struggle. You stop turning your dream into a courtroom case. You stop trying to make your ambitions sound small enough to be acceptable. You stop apologizing for discipline. You stop asking people who never built anything to approve your blueprint. And then, something remarkable happens. Your energy returns. The mind that once argued begins to plan. The heart that once chased approval begins to strengthen. The time that once disappeared into defense becomes available for study, training, business, prayer, writing, building, saving, creating, and serving. But let me make this clear. Do not use this message as an excuse to reject all advice. That would be foolish. The wise person welcomes correction from those who are qualified to give it. The wise person listens to truth, even when truth is uncomfortable. What I am warning you against is not guidance. I am warning you against the habit of explaining your life to people who are not invested in your growth. There is a great difference between someone who says, "Let me help you think this through," and someone who says, "That will never work." There is a great difference between someone who asks a hard question to sharpen you and someone who asks a hard question to shame you. Learn that difference, and you will save years of confusion. From this day forward, let your standard be clear. If a person corrects you with wisdom, listen. If a person questions you with love, consider it. If a person challenges you with experience, examine it. But if a person mocks your growth, drains your confidence, twists your words, or secretly celebrates your delay, stop explaining. Smile if you must. Say little, then keep moving. Your life is not a public committee meeting. Your dream is not a group vote. Your calling is not required to pass through the narrow imagination of those who never dared greatly. If you are building a business, build. If you are rebuilding your character, rebuild. If you are studying, study. If you are healing from failure, heal with dignity. If you are changing your environment, change with courage. If you are starting over, start over without asking the crowd to bless your first step. There will be moments when silence feels lonely. You may wish they understood. You may wish they believed in you sooner. That feeling is human. But do not let loneliness send you back to people who only know how to weaken you. In that quiet, speak to yourself with firmness. Say, "My actions will explain what my words no longer need to defend." Say, "My discipline is my answer." Say, "My peace is not available for debate." Say, "I will not reduce my purpose to make others comfortable." And when success begins to appear, remain humble. Do not use your progress to humiliate those who doubted you. That is another form of bondage. If you live merely to prove people wrong, they still control the direction of your life. Live to fulfill your purpose. Live to become useful. Live to master yourself. So I ask you now, where have you been over-explaining? To whom have you been giving too much access? What dream have you made weaker by placing it before people who were never qualified to judge it? What action have you delayed because someone did not understand your reason? Do not answer these questions lightly. Your next level may not require a new opportunity. It may require a new boundary. It may require fewer explanations. It may require the courage to be misunderstood while you are becoming stronger. If this message reached you at the right time, write this in the comments below. My discipline is my answer. Let that sentence become a promise to yourself. Not a promise to impress others, not a promise to argue better, a promise to stop wasting your life energy in conversations that do not serve your growth. From this moment on, protect your purpose, guard your peace, choose your counsel, build in silence when silence is wise, speak with clarity when speech is useful, accept correction from wisdom, reject sabotage from envy, and remember always, you do not need to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your life will become lighter when you stop carrying the burden of unnecessary explanation. Your work will become stronger when your attention returns to your definite aim. Your confidence will become steadier when you stop asking fear-filled people to approve brave decisions. So go forward today with calm power. Do not announce every move. Do not defend every choice. Do not shrink your ambition to make it easier for others to digest. Let your habits speak. Let your character speak. Let your results speak. And when the world asks why you no longer explain yourself the way you once did, let your answer be simple. I am too busy becoming the person I was meant to be.